What's going on, YouTube? This week I'll be doing something different with the pre-market analysis and really just analyzing a few pairs overall, like UJ, GU, and things like that. So let's just get right into it, because this CRT analysis will set you up for the week ahead. So let's just see how this goes. Right. Starting on the weekly time frame to get the feel for the direction of the market. So let me just see. Okay, so just off of the weekly direction, I'm thinking of targeting two potential areas just for the weekly direction itself. Price could potentially come back and target this high that it left here for one, and then secondly, a final tap of this candle open. Okay, go to the daily. Okay. So the momentum from our last few daily candles were actually bullish. So thinking that's where the market overall is wanting to go and continue. Let's see here. Yeah, but let me put this daily CRT to begin. Where is it? There you go. Okay, and we actually got confluence here because our daily CRT actually lines up with our weekly high. So that's good. That's what we want to see, right? Where is it? Here we go. So starting off next week, most likely Sunday or Monday, this is the range that we are more than likely going to be acting within. So just off of this, let's just keep going. Okay. This being liquidity shows that the market may want to actually return to this area and collect some of this. So it's actually very good that we are in this daily CRT range, because it aligns with the structure. Because we got right here, this was, let me see, let me just keep going really quick. Let me see if I can get the best feel here. Yeah, I'm thinking the 4-hour may be where we draw our pre-market analysis from. Yeah. One last look here. So price may come down. Yeah, I'm liking the 4-hour. Right here. Now here we recently had a break of structure, 30-minute, well, not 30-minute, the 4-hour break of structure from the, take that off, from the major high. So Where? Low point. Our low point of structure here is this area, but I highly doubt that this area even get touched. So that's actually a good thing, and it's showing that we have much more momentum to the upside overall for this current market trend. Let's see. Low. Let me just stretch this out. And like here, and you can see here throughout this uptrend, we had this clear break of structure because we were going with lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower high, you know. Then we got a higher low here, and not only that, but it came and it broke our previous high, which shows that prices ultimately has lots of momentum to continue higher within our daily CRT that we have here. So it's just extra confluence of showing where the market is actually going right now and where it could potentially go. Okay, what else? That might be the simple analysis for this time frame. Take a lower look one more time. Okay. This open, price could potentially actually target this open as a initial rejection point. So, because the way that this candle opened and went straight up, there's lots of liquidity here at the open just waiting to be collected. So price could actually be drawn into this area next week before heading further up. Let me do this. Okay. Hold on. We could be seeing something here, but actually what would make this very high probability would be, so this was actually very quick analysis. It wasn't really confusing, but what I'm expecting is price to come down somewhere within this area, maximum collect this daily CRT low, and then begin heading back up. Possibly if it continues down straight after. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Let me just redo that. That was terrible. Something like that. Something like that. So this is UJ, honestly, and let's see. This is what I would want to look for, but before potentially entering the trade, price could come here as well, but let's see. Nah, this area, because on the daily time frame, price may open up bearish for a bit to sort of then collect more liquidity, and you'll want to then target this high. And overall for the week, we are aligned with that momentum. So honestly, for this week, this is exactly what I'll be looking for. You could probably have it on 3 hour. It looks more clean like this, so I'm gonna just go with this. And if we don't get that rejection, then the analysis just was not set for me. But let me just go set some alerts just to be ready for it. We'll see. Got UJ out the way. Let me actually take a look at the DXY for a second. see where the US is actually headed overall. Okay. Almost about the same as USDJPY actually. Okay, yeah. This gap, I really feel like price up is going to eventually target this gap here and fill it. So price could actually very well be bullish. So this is like an extra confirmation that the US dollar could be potentially rising to collect, well, fill this gap. Let me see. Yeah, that's really all I'm looking for on the DXY. I'm not gonna focus too much on it, but just to help get that direction. So that's actually in alignment. So if this low is collected, the way that it's formed, it's more one of those wait and see type of things. But if this low gets collected, I will be very positive that we will target this high and come up and ultimately target this area for the week before seeing any type of reversals in this market. So go to GU, start from the weekly time frame. So just very quick, since I'm expecting the DXY to rise, then for GU, it's only natural that if the US dollar index is rising, then the natural correlation to that is the GU will drop. Okay, so on GU, my analysis should automatically naturally be bearish, and that's exactly what it's going to be, because right now we have a weekly CRT setup forming right now. So this is actually very good. This could actually be a high probability analysis here. Here we go. Target this low. Okay, let me zoom in now. And just, yeah, okay, yeah, for sure, actually. I'm very bearish on GU because we collected the liquidity on the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame has no more strength to the upside at all right now. Both of the points was collected. So let me just boom. Let me just type this out. Put this in the middle. Here we go. So we're targeting, so that's the weekly, that goes to the daily. Okay. So for the daily, let me see the 4 hour real quick. Okay, now I'm gonna just leave it like this. For the daily, it'd be perfect for price to come up at least near this high. I'm not really gonna label it a CRT high, but it is a point of interest. to look for. Go to the 4-hour. Okay, I could see price potentially targeting this low point as well. But this is more so as a potential target if our highs are collected or that we get any type of sign of a reversal. So let me see. Okay, yeah, price is a bit clearer here, low, lower high. Okay. So what I want to see in this case, put that back. This is a bit different. Low, high, low. Price has not yet, in this case, made a low for us. We have our high, but it did not make a low yet. So what I actually want to see, you see this line, clear this up a bit. Weekly high. Let me clear this up from this time frame. So just based off of this, the area that I want to see hit before targeting sales overall is this last area of liquidity here. Because what we can see is on the lower time frames, price made these areas that pretty much it will have a very high chance of returning to, or if it does return, it will show an initial rejection. But just given this area and the fact that we have this large bearish candle right here closing underneath this low, shows that overall GU is actually getting weaker and it will show lower prices. So the two areas that I'll be paying attention to on GU is seeing how price reacts once it comes here and here. If it does, this is more so the maximum area because it aligns with the daily time frame. But with the momentum that we have right now in the market, I really don't think it'll go all the way over here. But if it do, that's even better. That's even better. Let me straighten this out. Okay, we have the weekly. When did this start? Here. I want to see the next daily candle open, so probably Monday or so. Monday to Tuesday to collect this area and ultimately our targets. I want to target this too. Yeah. here. We can clearly see that we are in a downtrend overall. Price has been getting weaker. Collected the liquidity. So now from here, I'm expecting something like this. This is something that I ultimately want to see. Now it could either come here or it could come up here. If it comes up here, that'd be even better, high risk to reward. But you want to always see what the market is doing at a certain time, because I can't predict when it will do it, but I can get the feel for the direction and know where it's going to go overall, just based on the analysis and everything, you know, lining up. So I want to see price come somewhere within this range ultimately. And then I want to see rejection and things like that. But I really feel like this would play out too. I feel like the last two charts that I just analyzed will be very high probability analysis. Let's see something. Definitely won't want to miss them. Just send some alerts for myself just in case. So just for this area, okay. And to keep things sort of the way I've been doing them, I'm gonna label this area the major high. And then depending sometime during the week, we will see. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a new major low once price begins to retrace for a bit. And then price will also depend. If this candle just immediately starts to retrace, then I could definitely see price coming back down to around this area and collect this liquidity that's all this sitting right here. But if it start the week off bearish, then no trade, no setup, you know, no analysis, but it's just all about seeing how this turns out. There we go. No major low yet. This is just liquidity. And that's my analysis for this week when it comes to GU. Let me see, how long have I been streaming real quick? Quick intermission. Okay. Now let's knock out EU. Weekly time frame. So just like I did with GU, if the US dollar index has more potential to potentially rise, because it has been showing that that's what it's doing for this moment. Let me see. Then EU will continue dropping. And so just from EU, you can also pretty much see the same thing potentially forming here. A weekly CRT might be lining up. Yep, I can see this, or at least for some sort of duration of time. Let me just mark this out. Mark this low. Okay. The reason I have very high chance in this is because you also have this buy side liquidity that was collected here, which for the weekly you can consider this. Let's see. You can really consider this Yeah, a key level that was tapped into overall, and wrong thing. Boom. So even if price doesn't come all the way to the low, that's not always the full goal anyway. But wait a minute. We might actually have something in play, something long term here. Price could be dropping for a while, potentially, in EU. Another target is this here, just as a long-term liquidity collection. You can almost do the same thing here. Daily candle, CRT high. On a shorter trend, like for just not shorter trend because it is the daily time frame, but a shorter target could actually be this low. And I label this because we sort of have we have an extra correlation playing out here. This weekly high is the same as our daily candle high for the CRT. So like our daily candle low target would be here, but I probably wouldn't actually label this a CRT low to target just because it's been so extended. Like this has been going on for quite some time, but let me just get more of a feel. Low. Yeah, okay. Sometimes you just gotta really zone in and focus on where price is targeting and where it's going, and look at what it has already collected, so you can have the full context of what the market is trying to show you overall, and you're not just trading going in the wrong direction and just being lost. Let me see. So yeah, I can definitely see price target in this area as well. Now we got lower high, lower low. Take a look at the daily one more time. Just since it's for the beginning of the week, even if price doesn't come all the way up to this area, the higher that it comes towards it, the higher probability that the market will continue to drop back down from that area. So pretty much price did already collect this liquidity near this candle open and this low. Just to give a visual, it did already come down here and collect this. So the next candle could have some potential to likely rise up, even if it's not fully at this level. It could be somewhere around it. But let's see. Okay. This is another target of potential liquidity here too. Let me keep going down lower just to get a feel for the momentum. Okay. So for this, let me move this over. Well, let me see, what was this? Just enough. Yeah, that's valid. Okay. So what I'm expecting here, for price to come up, to make its way up, probably during Sunday, Monday to here. Honestly, I don't think price is going to come all the way up to this high, so I might not even label that our CRT high. Just fix this. But it does, what it does though, is it shows you where you are at all times in respect to the daily candle. So you can really gauge the momentum and where price is going. So this first area of interest, I don't really have a range for this area. Let me see. In this case, the 30-minute be way too low. So yeah, okay. Here. I'm gonna just leave this analysis pretty much just like this. But let me see. Go ahead, set that. Okay. So now what I'm expecting from this is price to begin temporarily retracing and making its way up into this area. Just so no one's confused, let me actually, boom, somewhere within this area. So somewhere within here, depending on what price shows us of what it's doing, you know, and we want to see the full candle closes of everything, but price coming up somewhere here and then collecting this low. And you know, if you do trade patterns and things like that, I'm calling it before it actually happens. For the outlook, you know, you can have a head and shoulders, boom, extra confirmation. So for EU, I'm very confident in seeing price come up to this level and seeing how it acts within this range here. And overall, my first target would be this low. Now, it's not really, let me see, a exact CRT candle, but this is what will really show me what price is going to do or what it has potential to do. Ultimately, I could see price coming down and collecting this area of liquidity too. Somewhere here. If it didn't touch it yet, nah. So this is, wait, make it more accurate. There you go. I believe price has a very high chance of collecting this area of liquidity overall as well. Let me make this wrong thing. Where is it at? Cannot find it right now. Oh, here we go. And I'm overall expecting this from the 1 hour time frame. Any viewers can pretty much ask anything, honestly, but this is my outlook for EU for right now. I could definitely see price coming up, collecting this last area of liquidity right before this big bearish candle. It's underneath the MA, just as extra confirmation. But this is definitely what I want to see, because price is beginning to reject from this candle's open here. It's like it's a gap. There's like a gap in price. The more you see it, the more you can tell. But this gap in price is generally going to cause some sort of reaction in the market to where it temporarily reverts in the opposing direction and then target opposing liquidity. And so my first area that I'm actually targeting, I want to see, is this area of liquidity that's collected right before here. Because once this is collected and we see rejection, depending on how strong that rejection is, there's no more liquidity to really push the market upwards. Because I see we got another viewer, so let me just go back on this chart really quick. From the weekly time frame, we approached a key level, collected that key level's liquidity from the buy side, and we are currently in the middle of a weekly CRT. We have this huge bullish candle right here, and we recently swept that previous high, and now price, as you can see, since that sweep, right, price has been getting weaker, going more bearish. And so that helps us pretty much get the direction from the weekly time frame, and we make our way down from there, and then we see what price is currently doing and what is likely to collect next. And so what I drew up from this time frame, actually I might just clean this up and just call it exactly what it is, and that's exactly what I'm about to do. So what we have here, this daily candle, this huge daily candle is actually in alignment with our weekly candle high. Okay. And with it being in alignment, then we have our full daily CRT targeting this low. So instead of just having a green liquidity, let me just make that more followable. So just ultimately for right now, price is acting within this range. CRT low. I'm gonna just leave this the low for the daily, because this is currently based off of the daily candle. And then I'm gonna just leave the high, the weekly, just so we know it's in confluence with the weekly candle CRT high as well from that standpoint. So this is ultimately the range that we are acting within on EU right now. And then just making our way down even more for the 4 hour, there's really nothing here to analyze for this point, because with CRT, you want to be in flow with the direction. And so what I mean is, you won't always analyze from the 4 hour time frame for your intraday timings. It won't always be a 4 hours. Sometimes you got to go down and get the feel for the volume that's currently acting inside of the market as well. So from that, I really like this analysis here for EU so far. just to give context, major high, no major low yet, but we will have one once price continue, depending on how it opens for next week. Let's see what else we got. Yeah. All right, yeah, that's it for EU. I'm pretty sure I just covered all bases. And I really like this analysis. Yeah. Just for everyone new who's watching, this might seem like a long-term projection because I'm sort of seeing the market before it actually moves. But once you trade CRT enough and really have the full perspective, you can sort of just align yourself with the rhythm and direction of the market. And so for now, this is pretty much EU. Let's see. Let me do another pair as well. For anyone who trade patterns, you will have a inverse head and shoulder, not inverse, but a head and shoulders as well if this does happen. So the more confluence, the better. But yeah, I really like this setup. I don't even want to look away from it because just seeing how easy everything aligns and flows overall with the clear range that we are in with the weekly time frame, aligning with our daily candle prices, showing us now we got the full close. It's showing us that it's potentially going to target this low of this previous daily candle overall. But just for next week, we have bearish momentum. This daily candle, it pretty much just shows us what price is trying to do. And then our 1 hour time frame aligns with the momentum of the market that we're seeing as well. So that's pretty much why I have the EU. I'm gonna also do, just for the sake of it, USD CHF. Let me see that. Let me see this. I just take it off. Let's see. Let me just. Okay, let me see if we reached. So what I have seen, what I see here is a potential weekly CRT. I see a lot of weekly CRTs potentially lining up here. But I want to see if we were within the 50% of this area yet. Okay. So for this area, what I would actually look to see is price come right within the 50% of this candle. Well, within this range, technically. I didn't really draw the range yet, but I see it in my mind before I actually see it on the chart. 1 second. There we go. Make this a little darker. Take that away. So what we have, just to make it more clear for anyone else watching, right? CRT low, weekly, the low was swept, which gave us this initial reaction and price began being bullish temporarily. So what I'm doing with this on the weekly time frame is I'm really just getting a feel for the temporary direction of the market. Where the high at? Pretty sure I passed it so many times. There we go. Now let's go down to the daily. Boom, boom. 1 second. Boom. Wait. I like to have them just aligned, just so it's like a clean range. I'm not expecting price to come up to this high at all, just because we are still bearish just overall. But so what I'm actually expecting though is price to come up to the 50%. Let me see. And this target is pretty much during the whole week of next week. So the whole week of next week, eventually it will reach this 50% level, I feel like, or there's a high chance that it does. So temporarily, just temporarily, I'm going to be bullish on USD for now. But since it's the beginning of the week and it is a pre-market analysis, the daily candle, when you just draw out a daily candle CRT now, 1 second. CRT high, there we go. And then let me see. Yeah, let me see overall what we're working with on the lower time frames. See, this, what this look like to me is liquidity at the low. So I feel like there's a very high chance that the market is going to open and it's going to want to target this low here for the daily time frame. Well, our daily candle low. But let me see more momentum. Now, just off of this candle on the 3-hour time frame, just going down, this candle has no low at all. So what this is really telling me is that price is going to be attracted to this area. It's going to want to collect the prices, the liquidity that's sitting at this level. So we have something potentially here on the 3-hour, might be the time frame where I will look to intraday this from, but let me see. Yeah. See, we starting to see the alignment from the higher time frames starting to line up with the lower time frames. Let me see. Do we have anything here? Low, high. Okay. Let's see. This time frame, the 1 hour looks too low. It's showing a little too much. So go back. This could be a major high. This candle broke above. Okay, yep, there we go. So as far as structure goes, I'm gonna actually go with the 2-hour for the intraday analysis, because also just like on the 3-hour time frame, how price had no low and potentially targeting this area, once you go one lower to the 2-hour, you see the same exact thing. So it's actually in perfect alignment. And with this area, this is being the major high. Let me see. Major high. Our major high was broken because this candle closed above. And so now price is targeting the internal liquidity as well. But our major low is this. And I really don't think price is going to come all the way down to this major low because it has so much bearish momentum going on right now. See, like, so context, just to give more context, because context is really everything in the market. So just for this major high, right, this close here showed us that price collected all of this liquidity that was sitting here. The only thing it left was this high, but it collected this. Let me just mark this. Okay, collected this. That area collected this. That area was collected, and then started dropping. And also That was actually a clean 2-hour CRT trade right here. But from here, what I would want to see is sometime during the week. Let me get back this arrow. Sometime during the week, if it happens, I want to see price come within here, collect this area of liquidity from this open, and somewhere within this range between this area and our low, show us rejection. Because if we get that, then that would be a high sign that from that point on, oh my goodness, that was terrible. Let me redo this. Something like that. Something like that. Yeah. So this is pretty much the area of liquidity, the liquidity area for price to again going the other opposite direction. Let's see. That's exactly what I'm seeing. So for this on USD CHF, I'm primarily going to look at things from an intraday perspective from the 2-hour time frame. It's always good to set alerts at all levels, just so you don't got to force yourself to look at the market. You know, it will either happen or it don't. The other thing that could happen is price just goes straight up right before it coming this far down. But coming this far down and collecting this liquidity will definitely be a higher probability, because the market moves from liquidity to liquidity. And so once it collects this, the only obvious choice will be, depending on how this opens, right? Because if this just rejects, then this area will be the first target that it re-enters. Just for the sake of it, in this case, something like this. If it opens, comes straight down, then it's going to target this. But if it does come up here and then come down, then we're going to just target the straight up high. So and from the market perspective, let me see expansion. Okay, even just looking at this, I can definitely see from the 30-minute time frame, this is liquidity just waiting to be collected. So honestly, what I see is the open collecting this, coming back down, collecting this, and then if we get that rejection, then price will have pretty much no choice but to ultimately target this high again for our overall daily candle that we left here. But for that, we gotta wait and see how the market does unfold in real time. But I'm really liking this analysis as well. Let me see. Let me see. USD CHF. It does align. And for USD CHF, the US dollar index is getting stronger alignment. And so it directly aligns with the US USD CHF temporarily rising. There's like a natural correlation there that the US dollar is right now showing us that it's getting stronger, and it's aligning with this analysis. And so that's really what I want to see. Just go through the other analysis that I did real quick, see if there's anything I missed. But so far, this is it. UJ looks very clean. I'm not gonna lie. This is probably the best probability chance here. I'm really liking UJ because it made this internal liquidity that price, I'm pretty sure, is going to want to target this sometime next week and form that double bottom like scenario where price is then going to target our high. UJ, see something. Very clean. Let me just make sure everything is in alignment. So US is getting stronger. See that. This area. I'm really just doing my last go through before I pretty much end the stream. Let me see. I feel like just analyzing one more chart for some reason. I'm just in the flow to analyze now. You know what? Let me see something. Just because, I guess. USD CAD maybe. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. That's the last one I'm gonna do. Start from the weekly time frame. Now for USD CAD, I could see price continuing bearish. Well, actually, hold on. It's in a bit of a weird place. From the monthly, it did collect this low. Now I'm not going to trade a monthly CRT, but I'm just grabbing context because I feel like for whatever chart that you are analyzing, you always got to get the overall context of what it's doing, especially if you're confused on some part. Like every other chart that I analyzed so far was smooth, but this one is making me think, and it's all right. I'm gonna think through. You know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and do it for the analyze purposes. Let me see. Let's see. All right, we're the monthly. Now, I honestly do not think at all price is going to target this high and make it all the way up at all. But for now, because it did collect this low temporarily and being in alignment, seeing that the US dollar index was rising, temporarily, we're going to see some sort of retracement activity going on the lower time frames. Okay, let me see now. Let me see how this looks now. So this is actually here. Okay. Don't see anything too clean on the weekly time frame to really go from. Daily. Okay. So seeing. Okay. Now, so that helped me get the context for the beginning, but here, before expecting any type of rise within this, just because this area is very nasty and it's got a lot of accumulation going on, for this area specifically, I would base this off of the daily candle, and I would want to have this range here. Let me see here. And let's see, let me see. Yeah, because see here on this 4-hour candle, once again, it has no low. So in these type of scenarios, whenever you see a 4-hour candle with no low, this is almost liquidity in the market that price is going to want to target, because it's just orders waiting, because the market opened straight up, didn't even go down, not even a tick. So price is definitely going to target this area. So if price does not, let me make this tighter. Make this tighter. Okay. Now let me see the flow. This chart is very sloppy, but I'm gonna analyze it anyway. This is really testing me right now. Let me see. High, low, high. Yeah. Let's see the 2-hour, even the 1. Okay. I really feel like price is going to come back into this area. Just got to gather up the context for the direction. Because sometimes you don't want to rush an analysis, especially with something like CRT, because it's very accurate. So you really want to take your time and get the full context of what the market is actually telling you, because the way you look at it is you're really just seeing the footprint of the market and following it. But from the 4-hour perspective, I definitely see price coming for this open and this open. Okay, wait a minute. I'm starting to see something now. Okay, hold on. It's between the 1 hour or the 2. Okay. The last high of importance is this area, but there's this minor range of liquidity sitting here. From this candle high and this candle high, let's see. This is pretty much the range that I'm expecting price to return to. One second, let me just make sure I ain't get lost. Hold on. Yeah, so the next candle, what I can actually see, the next candle opening here, temporarily retracing, coming into our first zone. But ultimately, I feel like it will pretty much collect both of them, come up here. And then from this point, begin rejecting down. I don't see price coming above this area for right now or none of that. But a temporary retrace, yes, I do see that. Let me clean this up. So this daily candle is from here, our low. Bring this tighter together so we can see the range that we're actually in from this time frame. So this is the range that we're currently in from the daily time frame. And from market open, price is going to most likely come up, show some sort of rejection after this first collection of liquidity, depending on how it closes. But the important thing always when it comes to the market is waiting for a close within this area. You don't want to just take the first reaction. But what I'm expecting is something like here. I'm actually expecting both of these to be collected. So I'm expecting something like this. I think I just cleared that up. I really think I just cleared that up. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Here. There we go. Since this open also has no low, I think it's the same for the 2 hour. 2 hour has no low. And then we know from this, the 4 hour has no low. So this area is already accounted for being here. And it lines up because this is actually liquidity. Okay. But as far as the structure and the momentum, here, we could potentially see some sort of reaction from this level first, but I can see this. Yep. Let me just go ahead, and this is based off the 1 hour time frame for this. Just because it's the start of the week and it's going to be a Monday, the 2 hour just got a little bit more weight to it, and you can still see the same liquidity areas. And from a CRT perspective, this candle, it did not collect this low since it didn't have a low at all. It went straight up. So this high is more than likely going to be targeted, collected in here. And then this area will sort of act as the key level at the top. Yeah, all right, there we go. 1 second. Key level. See? And if we get this rejection, there's essentially no more current liquidity that price will target on the upside, and it would then be all the momentum would then be going down and in alignment to the overall structure, because we can see this has been bearish overall long term. So I could definitely see this potentially playing out. Want to wait for a candle close somewhere within this area. Probably gonna get one candle to close somewhere within here. Other candle might wick at the key level and then target this low. I don't see price coming up to the CRT high from the daily time frame. Not really. If it does, it does, but I really don't see it. So this is what I'm going to go with for USD CAD. Here. Yeah, because even if you want to look at this from a structural perspective, what I'm seeing is that our major high was here. Price came, but it never broke it. It never broke this major high point or even closed above it. Let me just draw this out. Boom. It never broke this area. So we're continuing getting lower. Here. Came to the low. Yep. All right. All right, so I did just go through UJ, GU, EU, USD CHF, and I just did USD CAD. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this week's pre-market analysis on these pairs. Now, I definitely highly advise you to look out for these areas, because these areas are definitely areas of significance in the market that will definitely show some sort of reaction. Let me see. But from this point, I might go live every Sunday. I'm trying something new, but we're going to see. I might just go live every Sunday and do these pre-market analysis markups, because the last one that I did do in my Discord, it played out major. I think it was like on GU, it was like a 1-to-7 risk to reward trade that actually played out from this exact type of analysis. It came right into the area, got the rejection. So I'm definitely going to look for this, but let me see. That'd be pretty much it. See y'all in the next one, man. Definitely keep an eye out on these analysis. Play the video back if you need to, because I went pretty much in depth on the other charts and they have value of information and context. Let me see. That I'm looking for. I'm going to also post these in my Discord channel with even more context of every area, because the way that I trade CRT is, when I draw my lines, they're all there for a reason. You know, they're not just on the chart to just make you confused. Everything has a purpose, and to making this very clear. But that's going to be it for this week's live stream, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Let me see. Peace.